I didn't expect to feel anything during the interview, just nerves and ambition. But the moment I walked into his office, I felt it. A quiet, dangerous pull. Adrian Cross, CEO of Crosstech, billionaire, and the man every woman in the city whispered about. Tall, tailored, and intimidating. But when his eyes locked on mine, it wasn't just power I saw. It was curiosity. Heat. Too focused. And his voice low and controlled sliced right through my composure. He was too calm. I don't hire distractions, he'd said, eyes lingering on me just a second too long. Can you focus, Miss Hart? My body still burned from dreams I couldn't confess to anyone. I dropped a file, knelt to pick it up, and when I stood, he was right there. But I see the way you breathe when I'm near. Too close, I answered with a lie. Absolutely. Before I forget, I'm your boss. I got the job. Weeks passed. I buried my attraction under professionalism. I memorized every detail about the company, stayed late without complaint, dressed just right, not too bold, not too soft. But some nights, I caught him watching me, and some mornings. Then, one Friday, everything cracked. A late meeting, just the two of us. Rain hitting the windows like a heartbeat. You're good at hiding it, he murmured. I froze. My lips parted. You should leave, he whispered. But I didn't move, and neither did he, his breath brushing against her lips, but no kiss, yet. I didn't sleep that night, not because I was afraid, because I wanted him to kiss me. That truth burned in me like a fever. I kept replaying it, his voice, the closeness, the way his eyes darkened when he said he saw me. I should have stepped back. I should have been professional. But all I could think was how it would feel to finally give in. The next morning, I wore my hair up, my blouse buttoned high, and my walls even higher. Adrian didn't speak to me all day. He barely looked at me during the executive briefing. Even though I sat 3 chairs down, I told myself it was for the best. I told myself that distance was control. But control is fragile when it's laced with desire. That evening, an email arrived in my inbox. Subject: confidential. It wasn't an invitation. It was an instruction. Time: 9 p.m. Location: Executive Suite, Adrian Cross. My heart stopped. Adrian stood with his back to me, jacket off, shirt sleeves rolled up, fingers curled around a crystal glass of whiskey. I told myself it was work-related, that there was a file he needed or a crisis unfolding. But I knew better. I knew I should decline. I didn't. The executive suite was silent, dimly lit by city lights bleeding through the glass walls. I thought you weren't speaking to me, I said, my voice low, unsure. But I couldn't, because part of me didn't want him to choose. I wanted chaos. I wanted truth. I wanted him. He turned. His eyes met mine, and the air thickened. Every time I see you, hell, even when I don't, I try to bury it, but it keeps bleeding through. Whether I care more about my rules or about you, I needed to decide something, he replied. What? He stepped closer, every movement deliberate. My pulse thundered in my ears, and he studied me. I still don't know. Like he'd waited too long and still didn't dare take too much. My lips parted, and he deepened it, hand cradling my jaw like I was something delicate in his world of ruthless power. Then, his hand reached for mine, not rushed, Not demanding, just a slow, deliberate gesture, like he needed me to accept it before everything unraveled. I should have walked away. I think about you too much, he said. You're not supposed to say that. I whispered, I'm not supposed to feel it. The silence between us stretched tense, trembling, and full of things we couldn't name. I didn't pull away. I can't lose control like that again, he said, voice tight. Not with you, not in this world. His fingers laced with mine, and for the first time, the barrier broke. Tell me to stop, he said softly. Say the word, and I will. But my voice was gone. My will had drowned. He leaned in and kissed me. It wasn't a command. It wasn't dominance. It was restrained, aching hunger. Every nerve lit up. Every thought melted. I had wanted this, but nothing prepared me for how much it would feel like drowning and flying at the same time. When we finally broke apart, his forehead rested against mine. We stood there, breathing each other in. This complicates everything, I murmured. I know. Is this a mistake? His thumb brushed my lower lip. Probably, and yet, neither of us moved to undo it. But just as quickly as the moment bloomed, he stepped back. His jaw clenched. His eyes dropped to the floor. You think I can just forget that happened? I'm saying we can't keep letting it. He turned away, and I walked out, heart split between shame and desire, between his restraint and my recklessness. Back in my apartment, I stared at myself in the mirror, lips swollen from his kiss, skin still tingling, soul already hooked. I had crossed a line, but something inside me whispered so had he. The only question now was, who would break first? A knock at her door, late at night. She opens it and gasps. The knock at my door wasn't Adrian. It was Layla, my best friend, red wine in one hand and trouble in her eyes. You've been ignoring me for 3 weeks, she announced. So either you're dead or you're finally sleeping with the devil in a suit. I tried to laugh, but my throat was still aching from his kiss. She saw it in my eyes. Oh my God, you did, didn't you? It was one kiss, I muttered, stepping aside. One kiss. You look like you haven't slept since it happened. I didn't respond, because she was right. Ever since that night, Adrian had become cold again, professional, polished, emotionless. In meetings, he called on me like I was any other assistant. No texts, no glances, just silence. It was like he hit delete on everything that passed between us. I told myself I could do the same, that I could pretend it meant nothing. But then I'd walk into the office and feel it, the ghost of his touch, the weight of that moment, and I'd know I was lying. That following Monday, I walked into his office to drop off quarterly reports. He barely looked up. Close the door, he said. My heart stuttered. I obeyed. I need you to coordinate the Zurich conference, he said, eyes fixed on his screen. You'll travel with the executive team, 2 days. I want discretion. No drama. I swallowed hard. Of course, sir. Miss Hart. His voice dipped, and I paused at the door. It never happened, he said flatly. I blinked. What? That night, we crossed a line. I take full responsibility, but it was a lapse in judgment, and I need to make it clear we move forward as professionals. My breath caught. Just like that. His jaw tightened. Yes, you kissed me, and I regret it. That stung more than it should have. But I nodded. Understood. I left his office trying to keep my spine straight. But I was unraveling. Regret. That's what I was to him. Zurich felt like exile. The cold. The long flights. The endless meetings. Adrian barely acknowledged me the entire trip. But on the last night, after the final keynote, we were both at the rooftop gala, surrounded by champagne, city lights, and strangers. I watched him talk to a woman in a tight black dress. She laughed too loud. He smiled too easily, and something inside me snapped. I stepped outside to breathe, to remind myself I was more than a mistake. He followed 5 minutes later. You left early, he said, the city lights painting him in gold and steel. I didn't want to watch you flirt, I replied. Without turning, he exhaled. It wasn't what you think. Then what is this, Adrian? I turned to face him. Because you act like nothing happened. But I see the way you look at me when you think I'm not watching. You think this is easy for me, he hissed. You think I don't wake up every damn day wishing I hadn't felt what I felt that night. Then why say it meant nothing? Because if I admit it meant something, I won't be able to stop. We stood there, breathless. Then he stepped forward, slowly, as if fighting every instinct. I want you. God, I want you. But I also want to protect you from this world. From me. You don't know what it's like when you're the woman everyone whispers about. I'm already that woman, I whispered. But the difference is, I didn't choose it. You did. He reached out like he wanted to touch me, but his hand fell away. Then say it, I challenged. Say, you want me. He stared at me for a long, shaking breath. Then finally he did. I want you. And then he walked away. No kiss, no touch. Just the truth, left hanging in the cold night air. When I returned to my hotel room, I stood at the window until sunrise, heart bruised, but finally honest with itself. This wasn't a game anymore. It was war. And I wasn't sure who would surrender first, him or me. She receives a message from HR the next morning. She's being transferred to another department. Effective immediately. The message from HR was short, cold. You're being reassigned to the global strategy team. Effective immediately. Report to floor 47 by noon. No explanation. Just like that. I was being pulled from Adrian's department without his signature, without protocol, which meant only one thing. This was what he wanted, right? Distance, boundaries, professionalism. No warning. He did it. I should have been relieved, but all I felt was betrayal. The office buzzed around me, unaware. No goodbyes. Quiet. No warmth. No flirtation. No Adrian. Then weeks. Never emailed. I told myself I was fine. That I was finally free from the tension that had wrapped itself around my lungs since day one. No questions. I boxed up my desk in silence, each stapler and pen feeling like another piece of my dignity I was forced to pack away. He's not worth it, she insisted over wine. You were a toy, a distraction he got bored with. He never came out. At 11:58 a.m., I took one last look at the hallway that had changed everything, where glances turned into tension, where silence became longing, where a kiss had destroyed every wall I thought I had. The doors closed, and then I walked away. The new floor was sterile, because I missed it. It was for your own good. It was for your comfort. Because it was easier to erase me than to face what you feel. This time, there was no armor, just ache.him. I walk past your empty desk and hate myself. But I know what this world does to women who get too close to men like me. I didn't want to be the reason you lost your career, or your peace, the stolen looks, the unspoken danger, the intimacy of wanting something you know you shouldn't touch. Just spreadsheets and silence. Days passed. He never called. But I wasn't fine. Layla tried to pull me back to life. But that wasn't the Adrian I kissed. I don't want to need you like this. And I hated that a part of me still believed there was more. That belief shattered one night when I stepped into the elevator, and the doors opened on the 50th floor. He was standing there. There were no titles in that elevator. No CEO, no assistant. Alone. The tension flooded back, crashing over me like a wave. I thought I'd escaped. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Going down? I asked. He nodded. I pressed the button. The silence was unbearable. You reassigned me without a word, I said quietly. His jaw flexed. No, I snapped. I told you I regretted it. Liar. His eyes met mine. I think about you every single day, he said finally, voice rough. But I never asked you to protect me. You didn't have to. I wanted to. Deciding whether to follow the man who shattered every rule. The elevator stopped, but the doors didn't open. Emergency brake. We were stuck. Of course we were. We stood there in that tiny steel box, our breathing the only sound, our hearts louder than words. I don't want you, he whispered. Then don't, I replied. Let me go. He stepped forward, slow, as if the air between us was dangerous. I can't. Then his lips were on mine again, and this time, it was chaos. Not careful, not controlled. Just us. His hands tangled in my hair. My fingers curled around his collar. Every inch of our restraint unraveling like silk pulled too tight. Just a man and a woman who had waited far too long to touch each other like this. When the lights flickered and the elevator jolted, we broke apart, but our eyes never did. I shouldn't have let you go, he said. I shouldn't have waited for you to stop me. The elevator opened. Reality returned. And so did the distance. But everything had changed. That night, I found a message slipped under my apartment door. Handwritten. If I asked you to come away with me, would you say yes? No name. But I didn't need one. She stands at her door, suitcase in hand. The envelope sat in my lap the whole way to the airport. My heart beat faster with every mile. Adrian hadn't signed it. No initials, no instructions. Just one sentence that had unraveled me more than any kiss ever could. If I asked you to come away with me, would you say yes? It wasn't a demand. It was a confession. And for once, he wasn't hiding behind rules or roles or silence. I didn't know where we were going. I didn't care. I found him at gate 32, standing by the window, watching planes disappear into clouds. His tie was gone, his sleeves rolled, and when he turned and saw me, he smiled. The kind of smile that says you came even though you shouldn't have. I wasn't sure you'd come, he said softly. I wasn't sure either, I replied. First class. Silence wrapped around us like a promise. He didn't reach for me, didn't kiss me, but his hand found mine under the blanket, and that was enough for now. We boarded. The flight took us to Florence, A city soaked in passion and history. He booked a villa outside the city. Private. Secluded. Every detail screamed of intention, of a man trying not to impress me but to show me something real. The second night, it rained. We sat near the fireplace, wine in hand, music playing low. He stared into the flames like they held secrets. I built everything in my life to stay in control, he said. The company, the image, the silence. But with you, it was different. You made me want to burn it down. Then why did you keep running? I asked. Because I knew what you deserved. And it wasn't a man who only knew how to break people. You never broke me, Adrian. He looked at me then raw, unscripted. No, but I was afraid of falling in love with you and becoming a man who could. And just like that, the walls dropped. I put my glass down, like the universe had kept us apart on purpose and finally changed its mind. He did the same, and when our lips met this time, it wasn't heat or hunger. It was surrender, the kind that rewrites everything. We made love like we were remembering each other from a past life. I'm not asking you to quit your life. I'm asking to finally live mine with you in it. No roles, no barriers, just hearts that had waited too long to breathe in sync. Later, as we lay tangled in soft sheets and silence, he whispered against my shoulder, "Stay." I turned toward him. What about the company, the gossip, everything we left behind? Effective immediately. He's not CEO anymore. He kissed the back of my hand. I didn't answer. I just held him tighter, my chest a storm of love and guilt and wonder. The next morning, I woke up to an email. I didn't want you to ever feel like my secret or my employee. I wanted you to feel chosen. From Leila. Hope you're with him. The whole company's buzzing. He resigned last night. My breath caught. He gave it up. A quiet life, a louder love, days of kisses, and nights of truth. No hiding. No shame. For me. I found him on the patio, coffee in hand, hair tousled from sleep. You quit, I said. He looked up. I sat beside him. I never needed your title, I said. I just needed you. He smiled. Then let's build something new. Together. Just us. Florence became our beginning, and yet, some part of me still waited for it all to fall apart. Until one afternoon, a box arrived at our villa. Inside an envelope. My name, his handwriting, and a ring. Not flashy, not grand. Simple. Timeless. Like us. And he became mine. The note said, from the first interview, I knew you weren't a distraction. You were my undoing. And the best damn thing that ever happened to me. Say yes. Again. This time, forever. I stood in the doorway, tears in my eyes, watching him lean on the railing, nervously waiting. He turned. I walked toward him, and without a word, I slipped the ring onto my finger. Some stories begin with heartbreak. Ours began with a risk, and somehow, in a world built on rules, I became his one exception.